Welcome to another Nucida training session. Today, I would like to talk about object recognition in TestComplete. If you like, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe this channel and click on the bell to never forget our upcoming sessions. In terms of any questions or hints, please leave a comment. Initially, we will delve into standard name mapping, addressing dynamic elements, resolving issues, and expanding support across various frameworks. Here's an instance from a log message where a detection issue has arisen. The log will report in the Details panel, which you should frequently check, as follows: unable to locate the specified object when attempting to execute the click command. It will also provide the object's path through our name mapping. Said feature includes naming the alias, browser, page, and specific object on said page. This path, or intent test name mapping alias, is crucial. If we have an alias in the browser on a specific page, and it fails to locate, for example, the email text box object, it signifies that we could locate the object on the page, but potentially encountered difficulties with the preceding page. Hence, it's essential to pay attention to any highlighted text in red. It serves as a visual cue, prompting you to investigate this object within the log. You can click on the object and navigate directly to the name mapping. Now, let's take a closer look at the name mapping for the email field, for instance. If you right-click to reveal the object within the name mapping or during a scripted test, you gain the ability to navigate directly to a script for testing its location. This level of control allows for seamless interaction. By simply clicking, you can access the name mapping for any object. Now, let's explore our name mapping structure. It follows a parent-child relationship pattern. Within the name mapping, you'll encounter the browser and all the pages within our web project that we've interacted with. Each page, in turn, hosts its child objects. One vital distinction to grasp is that one logout button may differ significantly from another, particularly when it's located on a separate page, such as the search page above. Understanding this parent-child hierarchy is crucial as it empowers us to manipulate the mapping effectively. We can introduce dynamic elements by bypassing parent objects, a process facilitated through the Mapped Objects field. Here, you can easily drag and drop, or right-click to find the mapped object, thereby breaking the chain and enhancing flexibility. Troubleshooting in this context involves several key actions. To begin, it's essential to review the name mapping, as this provides a foundation for your testing efforts. Additionally, having a grasp of Spath and CSS can be advantageous, especially if these techniques have been suggested or are relevant to your task. Keep an eye out for automatic fixes, as they can offer quick solutions to detected issues. If the situation requires a more hands-on approach, consider manually updating selectors for web tests. This can be done through the Update Selectors option or by using drag-and-drop functionality to remap selectors to specific elements. In cases where your application is undergoing active development, it's important to stay proactive with selector updates and engage in deliberate refactoring when necessary. This adaptability ensures your tests remain effective amidst ongoing changes. Furthermore, the Highlight button is a valuable tool in our toolkit. It allows us to instantly verify the visibility of a specific on-screen field. If you don't see the expected flashing when using this feature, it could indicate a need for an update in the field's name, which we can promptly address through review and editing. Clicking the Edit option provides us with manual control over these elements. Moreover, we have the capability to introduce dynamism where needed. For instance, if we anticipate regular changes in a field, such as a user ID shifting to a different numerical value, example, from 12345 to something else, we can accommodate these variations by incorporating wildcards. This dynamic approach is particularly useful for page elements. Consider, for example, the login page, where a port value or an IP address might frequently change. To address this, we can simply input a wildcard, making the selector adaptable to any version of the page. We've also delved into self-healing mechanisms in our logs. These mechanisms come into play when we encounter multiple elements or selectors. In the context of element testing, we harness information to detect changes and automatically apply self-healing updates, especially when using the IQ add-on. Moving forward, let's explore the nuances of name mapping and the use of wildcards, which are particularly relevant in the context of desktop applications. This approach differs significantly from the utilization of SPAT and CSS locators. To illustrate, let's transition to another project involving an application. In this scenario, we rely on property pairings, a distinctive feature of our testing methodology. Within this framework, consider the OK button. It, too, follows a parent-child structure, indicative of the application under test. The application screen prominently features the OK button object, forming a critical chain of elements that must be satisfied. Two specific property appearances are essential in this case, both of which must align. This contrasts with test completion in web applications, where we often have a hierarchical structure and can choose from multiple options. In desktop applications, our troubleshooting approach involves confirming the availability of both required properties. Additionally, we retain the capability to highlight elements for ease of validation. Furthermore, if the application is already open, you can leave it as is. We have the flexibility to highlight it on the screen, make edits, and select new property pairings, with suggestions readily available for validation. An advantageous aspect of desktop testing is the use of templates. These templates allow you to choose an example object and specify properties, like a text box, for consistent validation. When we have predefined naming conventions for property pairings, we can ensure TestComplete uses these mappings to associate objects. This feature proves particularly beneficial for users with highly customized applications. Will this feature impact object recognition or detection? The answer to this is that it shouldn't, but it's essential to consider the context: desktop testing versus web testing. In web testing, especially browser-based testing, multiple browser windows may be open at the test's outset. This distinction is significant. For example, when we inspect the object browser, we may notice that Chrome is recognized as a single browser instance. However, Chromium browsers, with multiple open windows, tend to be identified as distinct applications. This behavior is inherent to Chromium and not something we can readily compensate for. As best practice, it's advisable to close all browsers at the beginning of any test run. Then, open a dedicated browser for TestComplete, ensuring complete control over the user session for effective interaction. While TestComplete handles windows open during the test seamlessly, it's critical to establish this control at the start of your testing session. Perhaps, let's address this query too: can I run two separate instances of Chrome with the same URL but different credentials and switch between them? Absolutely, and it revolves around precise name mapping configuration. In your name mapping for the project, your browser window might be initially identified simply as a single object type named browser. To accommodate multiple browser instances, consider adding an additional field, such as index. This way, when you open a secondary browser window, it becomes another browser window type, but you can distinguish it by assigning an index value to the property. As you open subsequent windows, the index value increments accordingly. Example, the second window gets index 2. This index value empowers the name mapping to differentiate between the two instances, allowing you to instruct TestComplete to interact with, say, window 2 or window 1. Managing identical URLs can be a bit tricky, but by incorporating this index value into your browser and name mapping configuration, you should be able to achieve this seamlessly. I hope this video offers you some insights. If you like, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe this channel and click on the bell to never forget our upcoming sessions. In terms of any questions or hints, please leave a comment. Happy testing and see you next time.